Bienvenue à un Sonk Sonk. Je suis
Oh my
host
god.
Sam Sutherland. Et toi?
My name is Josiah Hughes. And this week we're talking about No Age's Everybody's Down, which is like, I have complex feelings about this episode, and I feel almost ill-prepared to talk about this era of my life and feeling old and out of touch and thinking about all the people that I used to think were so
I've
cool.
had 4 weeks of this.
And so I was like, these people are the people involved with this are people I once looked up to so much. I still do. I think that musically, these are some of the coolest people of their era. And then we just opened the pod like that. Like, I mean, we're already like, we've already embarrassed ourselves when there's like art book people possibly listening. So,
I mean, would you like have preferred, like, what would have been
I don't know. That's the thing.
Coolest opening that would have impressed them? Like, would it have been?
I feel like if we could have both replaced ourselves with someone with the voice of Amy Goodman and the taste of Patti Schmidt, then we could have really nailed it, I think. But instead,
I've
it's
often
us.
described myself that exact way, though. So I'm a little shocked to hear you imply that that's not who we already are.
I feel like I did at one point come very close to inviting Amy Goodman onto the show. I think I.
What stopped you? Like, what has ever stopped either of us from asking people who should not be on the show onto the show?
I think it's like, if I can make an argument in 3 sentences why this highbrow person should discuss Blink-182, I'll do it. But sometimes I'll just be like, I think it was when I was trying to get my uncle to get Malcolm Gladwell on the show, when I was like, I don't know, he has a book called Blink. Like, is that good enough? Can we just fucking do something with that?
Is that something?
It's kind of, it's hard when you want to get someone. Maybe there's a hilarious guest on this episode, and that's also reflected in this intro. This kind of a meta.
We're recording this a little early, and so we don't know how meta this intro is. Like, maybe this is, people are like looking.
You mean
at
we don't know how Facebook the intro is?
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah. Now you understand
because it hasn't changed yet. The name hasn't changed yet when we're recording. That's how early it is. We don't know what Facebook is going to be called, Sam.
But we know that they're sort of interested in that, so we're forecasting here because we are digital truth sayers. What's while we're making dated references, what's the AOL guy's name?
Do you know the AOL guy's name? Oh, is that the forecaster guy?
The Digital Oracle. Remember, this was like people loved this 15 years ago.
What year is it? Is what I
well, I don't know. I think people.
I'm so confused.
I think in the era of No Age, it was also the era of making jokes about Chingy.
Yeah, well, okay. Let's paint a picture. It's post 9/11, but by less time than it is post 9. That's kind of how I think of it. It's being post 9/11, but a little bit less post 9/11 than now. The year is 2009.
Sure, that's yeah.
But I want to know, because my understanding, I feel like this is going to be similar to the Mika Miko episode. Well, it obviously is in many ways, but I'm curious what your take was on No Age at the time and how you feel about them now.
I experienced No Age a little more intimately than Miko.
Because it was guys.
Because it was guys, and I was like, well, I'm more interested. It wasn't quite as shocking and offensive to me as the notion of a band without men. So I was able to dip a toe in. I had a friend who was like so fucking into this band that I just felt kind of swept up in it because he was so enthusiastic and when they played Toronto, you just sort of go because it was also an era of like hanging out with your friends every night and drinking not in moderation. And I feel like we've talked about this on pod, or maybe it was an exclusive, or maybe it was on a stream, or maybe I just told you, but this is like also this like highly debauched era of my life where like I had a friend who like literally pissed in the mosh pit during a No Age show. Like it was like this era of like hanging and being fucking terrible. And then No Age, I feel like more than Mika Miko was also kind of popular specifically in Toronto. So one of the guys that put on a lot of shows at that time, like I feel like every time No Age played, there would also be an after show. And so I have like a very, very fond memory of like after No Age had played at like Lee's Palace or something, then, going down to the old Adrift shop. And this is like right in this transitional era where, it obviously wasn't like Toronto in the 70s or 80s, but kind of south of Queen was still a little no man's landy. And so Adrift had moved into a spot that was close to where I ended up living for like the last 10 years. But I just remember like walking through a construction site to go through the back door into the kind of like skate park set up in the back of this mini sort of ramp in the back of the skate shop where like I feel like Brutal Knights played, definitely Career Suicide played. And it was just like one of those things where you're like, everyone I know is here. Every cool fucking band in the city is here and playing. And it was, to me, like a real high point of the best that you could do from a DIY perspective in this city, which has always been like pretty hard to do actually legit kind of DIY shows in. And I feel like No Age were sort of a part of that. And we're obviously sort of friends with and very beloved by the people who are sort of working to make those shows in different spaces, and all ages shows happen. And there always being some sick after show that Career Suicide would play at or whatever. And so it was funny to me listening to this song because I was like, I don't know a single fucking No Age song. Like, I really don't. I've seen them play half a dozen times and I retained nothing, and I've never owned a No Age album. But to me, it was like a vibe and an era and a very popular T-shirt. And listening to it now, I'm like, this is fucking great. But that was sort of my relationship to it. It was fun. It wasn't 100% for me, but I like love that era.
That perfectly encapsulates what I've always thought of with this song. I guess what I'm feeling weird about now is that it is hard not to talk about like the glory days when you think of stuff like this and realize that, damn, that was us in our 20s and now we're in our late 30s.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting here talking into a mic and it's real sad. But I think, No Age was always tied to The Smell, which was a DIY venue in Los Angeles.
But I don't want the history of it. I want to know you.
But that's what I'm trying to say. It's
okay.
tied to The Smell. It's tied to this like community hub that was one of those special places that I think like Gilman or like, I don't know, Berghain or something, just a very specific style of music and scene that from a distance you're like, oh my God, this exists somewhere. I can't believe. I wish that I could go there because it just has this legend to it.
I wish No Age shows had a bouncer who would just like decide if you were dressed in enough black coming to the show.
I mean,
totally arbitrary.
They probably
don't talk
were,
in line at the No Age show.
They were probably guessing if you had the right Ray-Ban knockoffs and flannel shirt and scoop neck T-shirt. It's very like Am-Appy, American Apparel fashion sense era. Mm-hmm. Like it's all very dated, but at the time, musically too, No Age like kind of sounded like garage punk and Bob Mould, and also sounded like Animal Collective, and they also would cover Black Flag, and they were like kind of mixing. It was like a freaking hipster's Last FM Scrobbles come to life, but in a cool way. And so they married all these different things, and they were like artsy and kind of like artsy guys, but also really catchy, and you could get drunk. And so to me, like thinking about The Smell and wishing I could be there and then hearing what you say, that's what this song, this is the first song I ever heard by them. It's from a collection that is so dated sounding now called Weirdo Rippers. Like if that's not the most like 2000s speak I've ever heard.
So sick. Like even just seeing it when I opened it up, I was like, yes.
It's so dated. It's so good. But I mean, at the time it was sick as hell. It was very zeitgeisty. But all I'm trying to say is this is the first song I ever heard, and it's called Everybody's Down. And it kind of sounds like you're watching a punk band play at a art gallery opening at 2 a.m. And it just like, it has something about No Age had that feeling of like seeing all of your favorite bands at once, and everyone's all like, it has, I think there's like a difference in terms of things that are embarrassing to say out loud for like parlance to describe subculture and underground. I do think there's a difference between hipster and scenester. And I think that No Age is like, you can't help but say the word scene when you think about it. It feels like it's like art scene, like pre-MySpace scene music, in the sense of like, you go somewhere and everyone's there, and half of them do look like Andy Warhol.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I love, because I don't think I was aware of that meaning, and especially being, again, not fully, I think, a part of or interested in the specifics of what this band was doing. The fact that that was a universal experience for you, because where were you living at the time that this was all happening? Were you in Vancouver?
No, I had just moved to Calgary, but I mean, I think even then there were starting to be like parties that were kind of like mixed genre things. There'd be like DJs, but punk bands playing together. And it was kind of like everyone was starting to mix everything together in a way that, you know, is kind of just whatever now. But at the time it was really exciting. And then I'll show you the video in a bit, but I did go to South by Southwest 2009 when I watched Mika Miko a million times. I also watched No Age like 5 or 6 times. And yeah, I don't know. There was just, no matter where they played, there was this kind of like magic to it that is really funny and interesting to me, because when I was doing our patented Twitter search, I did notice that there's a lot of people who like kind of make fun of No Age, or think that it's like goofy, like some prominent like punk writers and stuff think that it's goofy. I think that's the problem with anything that has this level of like hipness or excitement. But I think even just regardless of where I lived at the time, it was just exciting to see that momentum travel into being like the great marriage of underground record labels and punk music and DIY culture, and then like Pitchfork type stuff. That was really exciting in the late 2000s. And then of course it got really bad really quickly, and kind of all that kind of stuff is pretty terrible now. But I don't know. It was just kind of like a really exciting elevation of kind of the experience of going to an all ages show. And then everybody was down, literally. So that was kind of the thing. But yeah, and then I just see people now be like, oh, they're just like Japan droids or whatever. And like that in particular really gets under my skin, because they're
they're definitely not as good as Japan droids. That's true.
Like I could see superficially, but Japan droids is like a, how do I put this? Japan droids is the Chapters Indigo to No Age's like very expensive art book store, where you buy like shit that's like sub-Taschen $400 coffee table books that have like 6 pictures in them. Like
fashion.
It's like,
I feel like yeah, Japan Droids is Tom Hanks and No Age is Meg Ryan.
I don't know, like
they both rock.
Japan Droids.
But one of them is more one of them's Tom Hanks, you know?
I mean, the other thing is, actually, I feel like your love of Japan Droids kind of flies in the face of your supposed belief that you don't want to know what songs are about. Because every Japan Droid song is like, I was on Granville Street making eye contact with a chick. Whereas, actually, so many No Age lyrics, including this song, do feel truly like they've gone through Google Translate many times, and they're very confusing. So that's what I also love about this, is like, just the phrase "everybody's down" feels like it's like talking about this community, this legendary community that they had built around themselves. But the lyrics don't really make any sense at all. Like, it's just,
what are the lyrics? Besides,
they're just like, they're just like, not afraid of laughter, sense of feeling too. All the things they feed with dirt make me feel like I can't do it. Everybody's down. Everybody's down. It's time to call someone to fall, but no one is around. I'm exhausted too, Roy. Bodies burned to bits. Makes me feel like I can't. Makes me feel like I can't do it. Everybody's down. Everybody's down. In every soul, in every town. Everybody's got me going, ooh, ah, ooh. We only hope when we're dead. Get no joy, always hate within. It's like you're reading like a poetry zine that has gone through Google Translate back and forth. Or it's like almost like an AI came up with it. But it also like is vibey as hell. Like it just connects perfectly.
I feel like I'm finally mature enough to actually listen to and enjoy No Age, because I loved your poetry reading just now.
Thank you.
And you're right. It is less about making eye contact with girls in Granville Street.
Yeah, like there's so like
That is my favorite Japan Dread song, though.
So this song is from Weirdo Rippers, as I mentioned, which is it's like a collection of a whole bunch of I guess EPs that they put out on the same day on different record labels. Like I almost feel like No Age, in addition to seeming very like art project-y, also had like brand activation energy by accident. But they like teamed up with a whole bunch of different DIY labels, and on the same day dropped a whole bunch of singles. And then I think they all sold out really quick. And then it was all collected on Weirdo Rippers on Fat Cat Records, which I think also did like Mogwai. It's like a post rock label from the UK. Actually, a band on that label also was produced by Mark Hoppus, which I always thought was kind of funny.
Oh, shit. Kind of like, Simple Plan?
Yeah. I can't remember what they're called. No, it was like an indie band that was like kind of like cool. But yeah.
It's funny that you're saying that they had brand activation energy, because I remember being younger and being like, how is everyone who's into this, and this is a similar sort of theme for the Mika Miko episode, so much cooler than me, and like, how do you even become that cool? And like, everyone's so fucking punk, and I just really like the Lawrence Arms or whatever. And not that necessarily, we've talked that to death.
Yeah, so please don't ever mention the band again.
I know. I kind of want to move on, but I did want to situate myself at a place in time. But I feel like all of these people did end up working. Like, all of these people are now creative directors at Nike,
Yeah. And that's why Nike is like thriving lately. It's so cool. It's cool as all hell. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Well, actually, I'll talk to you about that in a second. But okay, I just wanted to pull up the labels. So the first 4 No Age singles were released on Teenage Teardrops, which is the label run by Callie DeWitt, a.k.a. Kurt and Courtney's former nanny, the guy who designed the Life of Pablo shirt. So that's
Nausicaa.
His label. Exactly. And also
right on.
Upset the Rhythm, a UK label, did one of them. And then Post Present Medium, which is like Dean from No Age's label, still around, very sick, so fucking highbrow, but also punk. And then Youth Attack, Mark McCoy's label, put it out. So already you're like just showing up on being like, yeah, we're fucking. Even saying those 4 labels together is an everybody's down moment, is what we're going to refer to it from now on. And then right after that, they released like a rare cassette that I used to have. I got it from, or at least I had it from Soulseek. I used to listen to it, but they teamed up with Zach Hill and made like a collab called Flannel Graduate. So Zach Hill's involved. I mean, the Death Grips narrative is building. And then eventually there was a bunch of other singles and tour only things and whatnot. And then they did sign to Sub Pop and put out Nouns, which is kind of an incredible punk / shoegaze album before like every hardcore guy was doing like just like actual shoegaze worship. Like, I think the thing about No Age is that they were taking a whole bunch of different alternative underground punk influences, but then still turning it into No Age instead of just doing the like full cosplay, which I also respect that hardcore guys do. But so there's just so many everybody's down moments happening here that is making everybody down. And so that's why I think it is like big Nike energy for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Nike is obviously cool, but it on some level made me feel better to realize that, this is not true about everyone, but on some level I was like, okay, no one was actually that punk. Like, everyone was kind of pretending, right?
Well, I think the thing about No Age, and maybe what gets them away with really seeming like a brand or like a marketing tool, or what they were doing.
Because those shirts, I mean, they're a real T-shirt band. Too,
They were a huge T-shirt band. I think that of their era, they were like the T-shirt band. But I think what helps them kind of separate it is that they are very like art school. They're very like art, yeah. And I think that that's kind of like a get out of punk jail free card, or it was back then, to be like, well, what we're doing art. Like, it's not my fault that this sick T-shirt I designed is like the show uniform. But of course, yeah, No Age did have like an incredible kind of like ombre or like rainbow gradient print of their logo that was kind of like the shirt for many, many punk years, probably just 1 year in human time, but for many punk years, it was the shirt. And famously, it was, I found it on Stereogum. They were talking about it. Famously, Colin Greenwood of Radiohead wore it to some like fucking, I don't know, whatever. There's Nigel Godrich they play in his garage or whatever, and it was like some smaller Radiohead show.
Park. Is it a car park?
Yeah, like there's a picture of it because Radiohead recently reissued the set that they recorded where he was wearing that shirt. Like, so the cover art of it had him wearing it again, and I was like, damn, that's a real moment in time when everyone, including the guy from Radiohead, had that shirt. But I think it was like kind of like, again, I think it all comes back to this song. Everybody's down. Like, you're trying to show that you're down by having the shirt. So I think it is this like propulsive energy of like, I know what's up. Like, it's like it's like kind of like name dropping, I guess. And I think that did become like, I don't know, what are some other t-shirt bands that you remember? Because the other one I can think of is New Sensei, the band that may or may not have had Orville Peck as the drummer. The New Sensei shirt was like a huge accessory for a long time. The bands would wear the New Sensei shirt, and I think more people knew of the shirt than the band.
The Ramones, a classic, you know.
Ramones t-shirt.
Everyone loves the Ramones. But, you know, the art school thing is interesting only because when I think of the guy that I was hanging out with, he was so into this band. He was sort of like a, you know, upper middle class hippie dude. Like, in my mind, his other musical interests were like Fish and Tom Waits. And then there was like No Age.
Yeah,
because I remember going to those shows. Like, when we went to go see them play with Career Suicide, and like he had never been to a show where like a hardcore band had like an actual hardcore band had played. You know, he was like blown away by Career Suicide because he was like, this is nothing like Fish.
Exactly. You know, it's like for like I said, it's for people who have like Taschen books or like the next Taschen. I don't know, Rizzoli, whatever's like. I can't think of the underground.
I can't believe how like tapped into coffee table book culture you are. That I just named it. Like, I could not name two, and you went above Taschen.
I would
Rizzolo?
love that. Well, Rizzoli is the one who did the Kim Kardashian selfie book, so I think it's pretty popular. But I mean, I love me some pretentious art books. I don't really own too many of them, but the few that I do, and like I love to walk through a fucking fancy pants bookstore and look at. I love when there's like a $20 zine that's just like 4 photos that someone took of a fence. And I have a lot of friends who are like fence photographers too, who are popping off on Instagram all the time. Shout out to all my photography friends. But I love it. I think it's such a cool vibe, sincerely. And there was, I forget what it was called. There was a Los Angeles bookstore that No Age was always shouting out and referencing. And I remember visiting it as some kind of mecca. Like, I do feel like this was kind of the cool signifier of the late 2000s. And it wasn't, even though like they're playing with Mika Miko, and the South by Southwest I went to was like the first time that Waves played, and I saw early Waves shows with that first drummer that they had a famous fight, and I don't know, it's like Carl's hipster runoff shit. I do think that No Age was more tapped into like art book culture, and that's why they still are able to keep putting out records that like aren't really popping off the same as they used to, but they're kind of just, they're on Drag City now, which I think of as being like the retirement plan for indie rockers. Like, you don't have to like,
home.
Yeah, you don't have to like try to get someone to premiere your video or whatever. You're just like chilling, and like, I don't know, dudes who've had gray hair since they've been 30 are going to always buy your records. And it's like, it seems like the absolute dream.
There's nothing wrong with going gray at 30, man.
I don't have any gray hairs yet, and I'm in my late 30s. I have nothing.
So don't act like going gray at 30 is crazy.
I'm not. I'm saying it's a vibe. I'm saying it
gray at like 20. 20 is when it's unusual.
I'm saying that makes you kind of a esteemed indie rocker for life if you're gray that early. But the other thing about this song I really want to talk about, I guess, well, there's two. So first of all, my obsession with No Age did make me think like I can kind of make, like, it really did inspire me more than I can really put into words to start making music that, because I remember feeling completely like I'm the only one who likes Animal Collective and also likes, I don't know, terror, I guess. And this is almost in the
Yeah.
middle. It doesn't really sound like terror, but it does like it
I get what you're
is.
saying, where you're like, someone conceivably could be like, these are the things that I'm into, like super, super literate and cute kind of music, but then also just like dumb, loud music that sort of hits you in the guts, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this was where I really realized, like, damn, you could just do that. And so, like, when I started to make Grown Ups, initially my idea was to make it more like this, and I definitely punished Dean from No Edge very hard on email and once in person, very drunk, to try to get him to put out Grown Ups records. And Dean, if you're listening, I'm sorry, I don't drink anymore. But I like, it did inspire me a lot to do that. And the other thing that I think is very of its time, but also like sick as hell and something that people should bring back, is this song does have the part where the drummer, who's the singer, can go out and be in the crowd and sing before going back to his drums and playing the rest of it. Like, it has, like, there's a lot of room for bullshit in this song, which I think is great.
Right.
So this is, and also the guitar just sounds like so iconic and classic to me.
Yeah, I can't believe how cool the whole thing does sound. And again, I don't think I was prepared at the time to listen to music that, wasn't as like compressed as the sort of shitty punk that I was into. So I don't need to be that disparaging. But it is like, now listening to it, you're like, oh, it sounds like that moment.
It does.
It's very like, it's not super thorough, but if you did that now, I'd be like, what is this 2000s shit,
Yeah, exactly.
It totally kind of captures something. And yeah, I can see it, like, again, it sort of crossed all these, it crossed all those communities. I think that's sort of where the universality of the kind of community aspect that you kind of hit on right off the top, I guess, kind of comes from, because they existed at the center of all those things. So whether it was like, for you being like, I love Belle and Sebastian and I love Terror, whether it was like for the guy that I knew who was like, it makes me feel how like listening to Big in Japan does,
right?
And also makes me feel like I'm back at Dalhousie reading a fucking book, and then so it was able to like bring all those disparate communities together, and then also by virtue of like kind of being the cool shirt, like it becomes cool. And so if you're the coolest thing in like 5 different communities, and then you play a show in a city, like all of the coolest people from those communities are going to be there, and it just like immediately sets a vibe that is very positive, because I feel it crosses like hardcore kids and then whatever indie rock kids and bookstore aficionados, right?
It's also not like, I feel like some other of the big punk breakthrough bands of this era were kind of like, there was this attitude of like, it's not the case anymore, but it was kind of like, you can sing along to this if you know the records we're referencing. You need to actually know what we're talking. Like, there was this kind of like, this is absolutely gateway music.
Yeah, and I also feel like there were other bands. Like you mentioned Waves. To me, like I don't actually know if you like Waves or you liked Waves.
I mean, I did, but I don't. I guess is the easy
Okay, I
answer.
get that. To me, I think like I always thought of Waves as being like a punk band for people who didn't really like punk, because I didn't know anybody who really liked Waves.
Yeah.
But I also probably did know a lot of people who really liked punk at that time.
Here's the thing. I think Waves is like a punk band that didn't do their homework. And then a band like Fucked Up at the time was a band that like wanted you to also have done your homework.
Yeah,
but
they were like too much homework.
But No Age is like, we did the homework for you, so listen to us.
Oh yeah, I love that. And
then because it's like you can tell there's like substance to it. It also kind of touches on some like Load Records, Lightning Bolt type shit. It is all very dated at this point, but something about it isn't as well, in a way.
This is fucking awesome, man. No wonder this was fun.
Yeah.
Because I was sort of like, how did I keep going to these shows and never learn any No Age songs? And now I'm like, well, look, because I was
you were push
just
moshing.
vibing.
I mean, that's the thing. They did, so because they were so popular, they did enter into the realm of push moshing lanyard music journalists at music festivals. Like, I always, for some reason, picture these two people push moshing, and I don't know if any of them even have, but just can't you just picture these two guys just pushing into each other?
Yes,
you probably knew what I was typing.
Here we go. yeah, exactly.
I lost my flip flop in the pit, like that kind of guy.
big time flip flop losers.
But I don't know. There's so many videos. Like, this is just obviously probably how they close their set, or I don't know. But I just love a song where the drummer can dick around and then it cuts out, and then he goes and sits down. It's like such a great gimmick that it feels so good.
Yeah, you're not going to love this, but it does remind me a little bit in the way that we're kind of describing it in the experience of that era of going to see like Japanther play, where I
love Japan. I love Japanther too. Absolutely,
Japanther fucking rocks. But I actually have Japanther CDs, and I still don't think I know any Japanther songs. Like, it was such a vibe based experience.
It was. I mean,
do you know any Japanther songs? Like,
I know
what's the big Japanther song?
There's one that I love that we actually covered as grown-ups, thinking it was a Japanther song, and then a friend of the pod, Connor, pointed out that it was actually a cover of a folk punk band. So it kind of revealed poserdom by thinking that it was Japanther. But no, there like that was the thing back then, was just like taking the loud, quiet, loud dynamics and then making it. But here's what I don't understand. This stuff has, like, if you look on Twitter, if you talk to like someone who's under the age of 30, I think this does probably seem a little bit cheesy, this kind of music at this point. But I don't understand how this is worse than like escape room music or whatever. Like, how is this worse than just something that's just like, there's no dynamics at all and nothing happens and everything is way too well produced? I don't get it.
I think it is a fool's errand to guess at what a new generation is going to think is like corny or worthwhile, because the fact that the Mountain Goats have inexplicably found a new audience on TikTok just makes me think that like this is all very unpredictable. Like, tomorrow, Everybody's Down could be, you know, the like a big time Zoomer hit, because someone used it in a TikTok.
And it should be, because it's sick as hell. It's so good. And the lyrics are so cool. And like, also the way it's produced, how it sounds like kind of backmasked, and like this, how could you not?
That was the most like Patrick Bateman-y endorsement of a band I've ever heard you. And they should be, because it's sick as hell. It's like, like right before you fucking axe me in the back of the head listening to weirdo rippers.
So I did see No Age many times when I was at South by Southwest, including the Smell Showcase in the backyard of an art bookstore. I couldn't find No Edge playing Everybody's Down at the show, but I did find them playing one of the other songs from this album, Teen Creeps. And you can see me leaning on the fence right in the middle there with a flannel shirt over a striped T-shirt. And I had big shaggy hair. I really did fit the look at the time.
Aw, look at you.
Yeah. So much hair if I don't shave it off. It really gets big.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like when I met you, you were a big-haired boy.
My hair doesn't get long; it just gets big.
That was part of what made me think, because when you started writing for Exclaim, I thought you were like 5 years younger than me, and I think it's because you have a sweet cherubic face and had gigantic hair at the time. Into like Christian music.
What's that?
And maybe you were also still into Christian music, and so I was.
What
like,
did you get that impression from me at the time? Because
yeah.
I think literally the only thing that happened was I said, Me Without You is a pretty cool band. I should review their new record. And someone from Exclaim, whose name starts with C, said to me, we don't cover Christian music. That was like, and then I think there was this understanding of me as being like, also, but now everyone likes Me Without You. And they're probably not even Christian anymore.
I want to say I have stayed true. I still do not like Me Without You.
I don't really either, but I love that one record, Brother Sister. So anyways, here's me. Sarah is actually beside me too, but if Randy from No Age would just move, she's you can kind of see her just to the very left of Dean's head. Behind.
Oh yeah, okay. There's like a hint of Sarah there.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah.
So I mean, just kind of proof that I was there. But then also, No Age.
It was. Man, we are really like people joke about it in Discord, but like we are fully in our James Murphy years.
We're
here.
so fucking old. But what order did I want to do this? So then No Age they were so popular they did become like kind of personalities, and around this time too, everyone was starting their like YouTube culture. So here's No Age cooking at home.
Yes.
I mean, the vocals on this song are so sick.
Because it sounds like just like doubled 4-track vocals.
Yeah. Oh, I can't. Almost a little bit of Tom DeLonge in there too.
Yeah.
It's funny, when I just Googled this too, I found my interview with Dean Spunt for Exclaim. And he said,
Vegetable stir fry.
No Age vegetable.
I would never tell anyone how to do anything, but we're down to talk about it and show how to people how to cook if they want, because they're like big time vegan guys. So there is this video of
How long we
cooking
lived together?
with No Age.
Almost 5 years. Then we quickly found out that our tastes in food are very different.
I put that on like everything.
Yeah, Dean
Rice,
showed me that.
pasta, salads. It's
Also,
sort of
this
like
this is for almost no one,
salt added, it's
but
just fermented soy.
Randy from No Age
Has amino
reminds me
acids.
of my friend
Stars of
Marcus
olive,
from
yeah,
Home 100
garlic and
a
onions.
lot, so that
That's
helped.
another key
And then I also always thought that
This is the iron
Justin
skillet.
Bieber's guitarist looked
Yeah,
like Randy
pork
from
and
No
the
Age,
oil
and
gets in
I
there.
used to tweet at him all the time, but he would never reply. He must have not known.
And what happens
who
is
it
when you
was.
use
The guitar
skillet,
player from
tiny
Justin Bieber's
Justin
live
Bieber
band.
wouldn't.
Yeah, he wouldn't. I tweeted at him like, "You look like the guy from No
Yeah,
Age." Yeah,
If we were to cut off this piece of iron and eat it whole,
No good. Probably die. Maybe.
because also
This
similar.
is definitely reminding me. You're right though. This is like the full on. This is an era of YouTube
it's a cheap Russian market.
Uh,
content.
Yeah, it's like
Right? Like this is what every
Tonight,
Exclaim
you know,
TV video was like for a long time.
it's also like
I've
borderline
seen it a couple
VBS.TV, which is really taking me back.
A little bit here. I generally tend
While
to
this
think
plays in the
of
background, just kind of this nice vegan cooking sound. No Age also is from the era of bands having their own blog spot. So they would just like kind of, which I think bands were a lot more shit talky when there was no, you know, it wasn't possible to be retweeted and whatnot. So our employee, Caleb, shout out to our employee, get back to work, buddy. He sent this to me because I totally forgot about this. But Kings of Leon did what I would say is not even really a ripoff of the No Age shirt, but it's kind of close, I guess. And
Yeah, I
then,
feel like everything just sort of started to look like that, but it's close.
but they posted it on their thing and said, "T-shirt designs by the Kings of Originality, looking good." So a little bit of spice, not just in the cooking from No Age here.
You don't really cook the vegetable.
Damn, yeah, you're right. Because the last post is them telling people to go to their Instagram. Man, bands having blogs, you're right, was so much better because you just like ramble and be a bunch of fucking photos. Like I remember searching for gold, right?
Oh, looking for
that
gold.
the-
Yeah, I think that's
Looking for
still
gold,
there
sorry,
too.
Probably. I mean, I'm sure Mike still updates it every day.
And like,
There's,
honestly,
screen-
yeah, this is some real old timer shit. But you know, like I would just go check these blogs all the time because I wouldn't have Twitter or anything, or maybe I did for a bit. But you know,
This is before, yeah.
you wouldn't really be clicking a link from Twitter. You would just like go check the blog or like put it in your reader.
Yeah. I mean, R.I.P. Google Reader, right?
I don't know. It's kind of sick to think about how like 2010 culture is already no one's talking
Was this
about
the
it.
best time?
This is the
Is
best
this the
time.
best era?
Well, you know, we were talking about it having brand activation energy. Something that I thought was like very strange and yet made so much sense and was very organic and also is like just commonplace now is they did do their own like I think line
It's cool when people are into it.
or at least a bunch of ads for the skate brand Altamont apparel.
also
So here's them just like
cooler when
chilling in a practice space talking about what it's like to be in a band.
Played an island at like a family reunion or something,
Yeah.
and it was like, you know, old women and babies and like barbecue, and that was like
What was
crazy.
the response?
They were into it.
They were
Old
super
ladies
into
were doing the
Little shuffle?
old lady dance.
Shuffle,
They're like,
shuffle.
"You boys are great," you know.
And the kids all got up and played the drums afterwards, like little babies in just tie-dye shirts and nothing else, like no pants, or just
Yeah.
banging on the drums, and all the parents were kind of just like, "Oh my god, you guys You realize how
I mean, they're just blabbing away, but they teamed up with Altamont, and like the brand would release their catalogs with 10 inches that were curated by No Age. And I guess, like, I had the Mika Mika one, but I guess there was also a No Age one that came with the 10 inch had them covering Bjork's It's Oh So Quiet on it, but it was like with the skate brand. But I remember being like thinking it was kind of weird because I think Altamont was like somewhat DIY, but I remember that they had it like at the mall at like West 49, and I was like, I don't know if this is DIY if you can get it at the mall.
West 49 is DIY, man. That's
But they even got like Sam McFeeters from Born Against made a T-shirt for Altamont through No Age and stuff. Like they really did try to take the Everybody's Down energy into the realm of mall skate apparel, and God bless them for it. I think because
that's amazing.
That's tight. And then the last thing I want to show you from kind of the real peak of No Age. This kind of has the energy of that picture of Death Grips hanging out with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and I can't remember who else is in it. Maybe Lana Del Rey, or you know what picture I'm talking about? There's a really famous. This kind of predates that. Oh, okay, it's Death Grips with just with Beyonce and Robert Pattinson. This is like a classic music internet picture, but this I think predates it. It has the same energy. This is Pete Wentz hosting his MTV show, and No Age makes an appearance in this sketch.
What's up? Pete Wentz, backstage at FN MTV. First thing I like to do when I come in is check on the artist. Hey,
So
Rihanna.
he's drank a coffee. He's going to see Rihanna.
Great.
Oh, good to see you.
Good to
How
see
come
you.
you're here?
Oh, I'm hosting the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what was this show?
Effin'
It's like
MTV?
That's Pete. Who? Hey. What up, man? You good? Yeah. You do the bro hug. Good show.
It's just like he's trying to
Wentz
bro hug Pete Wentz.
really awkward with T.I.
Kid Sister. There's a 2009 wave artist.
How you doing?
Hanging. You did a song with Kanye, right?
Yeah, he got on my song for meals.
Yeah. We got a song with Kanye too.
We who?
My band. Fall Boy?
I wonder what happened to Kid Sister. She was
Boy.
sick.
You said your name was Patrick?
This week we have Diddy's making of the band, all girl group, Danity
He Wentz is so scary
girls,
looking.
I'll sing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. We'll get to talk about Pete Wentz soon enough, hopefully. But
His time may yet come.
No age.
here we go.
Dude, hey man, what's up?
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Sandwiches. Ah, that's great.
Yeah, dude, I love the vocals on the new record. They're awesome.
Hey, we're No Age, man. We're on the show.
Where?
We're playing tonight. We're No
This
Age.
is great, actually.
over here.
No Age, you know, California noise pop duo.
Yeah. It's FN MTV, not FN Indie Rock.
Thanks, Pete. Bye.
Oh, that was actually a really satisfying
Okay.
end. He big timed
Okay, that's
them.
funny. So everyone else kind of didn't know who he was, and then he big timed No Age. That's funny. I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't watch
kinda landed for me
I
in the
didn't
end.
watch the whole thing, and they really did land it. So that's
It,
great.
it turns out, like, the reason it wasn't funny to start is because we hadn't watched the whole sketch.
That's kind of. But to be
Oh.
fair, how often do sketches actually pay off like that? Almost never, I would say.
Almost never, yeah. That's the first one. Congratulations on the first sketch that landed.
I was saying that the song has like a sort of backwards energy, and this is another kind of funny video. I think uploaded by Upset the Rhythm, the people who put out one of the first No Age EPs. This is the secret backwards messages in No Age's music. This song sounds really good backwards too.
I mean, it totally works. It's the same.
But it's a joker. Yeah, you'll get your manure today. You saved a real poor life.
But I really can't get over them having to, like, being scripted to say to Pete Wentz, California noise pop duo. It's so debasing, but incredibly funny.
That sketch was so good.
But you know that they were like, this is like hilarious. To be
They
in
really,
that.
honestly, they were better actors than everyone else too.
I know.
Groiny fucks the ugly bed at night. So that's kind of the song backwards. I guess the only other thing I want to show you is I found this video that I guess it goes to their website to explain the project, but the website's down. So we're going to have to try to guess, but I think it's just someone made 13 videos with a camera strapped to their lawnmower. And it's soundtracked by No Age, Everybody's Down.
So this is sort of like slow TV where you're just
Yeah, this is by Dylan DeFalco.
on a river for a long time. What a huge lawn.
Or maybe the lawnmower is driving, actually.
I feel like this is a riding mower
Yeah,
for
maybe
sure.
this is definitely-
not a push mower.
I mean, the video is just called Lawnmower 1. Or maybe it's not 1 out of 13. Maybe it's January 13 when they posted this.
I feel like this is not how you mow a lawn, though. They're just sort of, this is more like a go-kart.
This song is so good. I don't care if I'm old. It's good. No age. Get it?
So it's good.
Yeah, I couldn't really figure it out, so I was looking at his channel.
This is so sick. You gotta post this video. This is great.
It feels kind of like it could be a No Age music video, honestly.
Totally.
Or each of these could be in a really expensive color printer zine. Each still.
Sort of paused for a minute at a pile of dirt and garbage.
There's a palette on there.
Kind of just, yeah, I want to know the narrative of this land.
Well, I couldn't find that, Sam, but I could find this guy, Derek, who made this. I did find his Survivor application, so I thought we could quickly watch that.
Oh, sick. Okay.
It'd be cool if there's a No Age fan on Survivor, finally.
Content, who you are,
Did
and
you ever
why
apply
you
to
would make
any
the
like
ultimate
reality shows?
survivor. Be creative.
No, I didn't.
Oh, maybe this is the lawnmower that he's, or is this like he's beside a truck here?
How do I do that? I'm Derek Weiss. I'm 22. I'm living in Hawaii right now. I've been here for about a year.
Let's go.
I like this guy's vibe.
It's a different name than the person who did the
Oh, shit.
lawnmower video. Same channel, though.
Shit.
I don't know, like, what to talk about, you know? I don't know how to be, creative with the video. Like, what do you want me to do? Like,
Do these
do you want
guys
me
still
to
exist?
go surfing? Show
These
you
kind
that
of
I can
chill-ass
surf
guys.
Yeah.
or Work.
They
in my
must, right?
garden, or-
I don't know. I feel like this particular type
videotape
of chill-ass
driving my
guy
truck or
feels very
something, like-
2000.
What do you want me to do?
There are other lawnmower videos, too.
Right now we're going
Magnetic
down the
Fields,
rock
Santo Gold, Sufjan Stevens.
quarry to go surf.
They're all the time.
I feel like,
I guess
feel
what
like I would not cast this man on Survivor.
I'm trying to understand, like, how you
Here we
would
are
send
at
this
my
video
local
in.
break.
It's like
small,
all deleted scenes.
but-
Where's the real?
Yeah.
Just the real video.
It's like, here's the, like, part of it is just like, here's the ocean.
Just belching. This is sick.
Just drinking a 40 and
I actually
belching.
think he would be great
Not
on
talking.
a reality
Small
TV
day.
show. Did he say small day?
I want to win $1 million.
I think so.
And with the $1 million, what I would do with it, I'd probably buy a sailboat and sail around the whole world and live on the sailboat.
He's tight. This guy fucking rules.
Pick me, I guarantee that your show will blow up and everyone will start watching it.
That's true, probably.
Because I'm gonna be the ultimate survivor. That's it. Period. So pick me. And your ratings will go up.
I think it's true.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
it.
Because I mean, I haven't watched Survivor since the first season.
I've
but
never
I feel like
watched
that's
it.
because of, you didn't watch the first season
when
of Survivor?
Survivor came out, I mean, I think
Were you too Christian for it?
No, I think no. Stop it! Just because I talk about Me Without You, I think it's because my family watched like Michael Moore's TV Nation. I think I was like too cool for Survivor when it came out.
Oh, come on!
I'm serious. I think I remember there being like a lot of anti-reality TV rhetoric in my home, and instead we'd watch TV Nation and The Simpsons and like be postmodern.
I mean, that sounds cool too, but you were missing out. But again, like I didn't keep it up, and I think that's because there wasn't enough Derek.
I know, like Derek, I agree, would be sick. What if there was like a
The
reality
ratings will
show
go
called
up.
like The Chillest Bro, and it was hosted by Alex from Gulch Pod, and people had to do challenges to see how chilled they could. I think that would be incredible.
This is a good idea. You should stop recording, go back and erase this because someone is going to steal your Chillest Bro.
America's Chillest Bro, and obviously it could be the bro is not gendered in this context.
Bro is gender neutral. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. America's
All
Chillest
bros
gender
welcome.
neutral bro.
It's catchy sounding for sure.
We warned that there might be some time play on this episode, and I think there actually might be because Sam is no longer with us. He has been let go from the 155 Corporation. And so it goes down the chain of command to our own employee. Very first time on the mic for the show. Welcome to 155. I'm so excited to have you here. Sparkling Caleb, what's up?
Welcome to Blink 155.
That's kind of a callback to Georgia was also trying. I think we need to audition the best Sam intro. We should do that. Everyone should
Replace the cover section with that. Just an hour of Sam.
an hour of people doing a Sam thing. I mean, your waveform does kind of look like Sam's. I'm gonna zoom it out. Well, no, Sam's is still much. You got some work to go. You got some work to do. Caleb, we know you as someone who is omnipresent in our lives digitally, but who the fuck are you?
That is a question that I ask myself every day. Let's see. I am an artist. I am a teacher. I'm a musician. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know. I mean, what?
That's sick.
What do you
Wait,
wanna know?
yeah, you talk about like teaching classes. Like, what what kind of teacher are you, other than just?
I'll just start over. I'm getting my MFA right now, so that's a Master of Fine Arts. I'm at a very large state university, so that means that as part of getting an MFA, I teach the 100 level version of what my concentration is in the MFA. So I'm concentrating in photography. So I teach photo 1 to like 18-year-olds. And they're all shooting on cell phones, and it's very weird, but it's also fun, and they're very good at it. And then I like have also sort of played in a bunch of bands over the years and done sort of solo music and experimental music. So that is sort of my qualification for being here. I mean, I'm
qualified.
just a giant nerd. So
You are, but are you a punk also or no? I can't tell if you're just aware of some punk things and mostly know about like free jazz, or if you're also from a punk background.
Yes. Well, it's a little bit of both. I think I kind of got into hardcore and punk at the same time that I got into sort of weird underground music. And I remember reading that Simon Reynolds book about post-punk and being like, all of these guys were in sort of like capital P punk bands first, and then they moved on to being in sort of like more interesting bands. So I guess my path should be that I'll do a punk thing first and sort of move on. But I sort of did them both at the same time. So yes, I mean, I am a real punk. I mean, as real as one can get, right?
I mean, if you say that sentence out loud, then I think you're not. If you saying that sentence, it means that you might be a narc, and also you're a teacher. So I don't know. I mean,
it's actually a great point. I have always really respected and needed authority in life. But I think
you're
actually,
a perfect replacement for Sam then, actually.
Yes.
The narc energy is perfect.
Yeah. Giant teacher's pet. Absolutely.
Well, and you're a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. not a teacher and a teacher's pet. I mean, I'm on my boss's
That's-
fucking podcast. That's like the biggest suck up move I could possibly do.
the Ouroboros of sucking up, I think, to be a teacher.
There's a
and
lot of
teacher's
stuff
pet.
going on here. We're replacing coming and pooling with sucking.
Yeah,
I think.
I never,
Yeah.
but not fucking. Okay.
No.
So, I mean, as our employee, here's something that's never happened on the show before, ever. And I'm really excited. And I think somewhere, well, I already said this in this own section, but we did threaten that there would be time play. You've heard the entire episode, including parts that haven't happened yet. And I think that's kind of an interesting space to be in right now. I mean, so just I don't know if you remember where the cut was, but imagine leading up to the guest spot. This guest spot is happening now, and then there's the cover section. What do you think where do you think we fucked up so far in the episode, and what do you think people need to know before they enter into the latter half of the episode?
Yeah, no age, no time. Wait, I'm going to do my other joke that I forgot. Hello
Does.
there. Okay.
For
What did
fuck's
you fuck
sake.
up? No, I think you. I think it's good. I thought the episode was good. I mean, I think there are like things that I think I would like to get nitpicky about that pertain to the show as a whole. I also like. I should just say ahead of time that like I do have like an elaborate audio visual presentation that we can do, but I also know that you are very not research based, so.
You've made an audio visual presentation for this?
Well, I just like there's a lot of like connections to No Age that I think of as being reasons why they're sort of like legit that were not mentioned on the episode. So
Oh
like
my
I
God.
will bring those if you want to, but we don't
Please.
have to sort of go down the
No,
litany
that's
of like,
let's do it. That's why I brought on, because Sam's a teacher's pet, but he's a jock. But we needed a teacher's pet nerd to help us get through this episode, I think.
Yeah,
so I'm
okay.
excited. I'm excited for that. But I mean, just in general, like as a standalone episode, how you feeling?
yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, there's I
am a little pissed off that you said that you have issues with the show as a whole, because we do.
No. It's
we
I'll
pay your
address-
salary,
I'll-
so
I mean, yeah, well, you know, institutional critique is the lifeblood of any creative institution. So I think you should welcome that.
we're a family here, not a
Yes.
we're not a normal institution. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This is a small business.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. Well, first of all,
Did you just say "Where are you" to yourself in a Blink voice again? Where are you? To your own
yeah,
notes.
that's kind of my tick that I have, really. There's a few things, right? I mean, like in 2008, I was 16, so I was obsessed with No Age, and I read Pitchfork, and I think in a weird way, what you guys said about No Age, their existence in 2008 and 2009, confirms everything that I was like projecting on that world, because like. I mean, I did go see them live at that age, and I did find a review of the show that I went to in the Boston Phoenix that said the crowd was small but well dressed. So I did get a picture with No Age on my old flip phone. It was like extremely dark, so you actually can't see anything in it. But I just like my impression of that band was that it was for sort of like this mixture of like kind of art people and punk people all kind of hanging out and like having sort of just like a raucous good time, but also it having this kind of like more avant-garde edge to it. And also, I mean, the read that it's like Animal Collective meets punk is absolutely like what was attractive about it to me. I mean, like I definitely always think about this Pitchfork video I think it's at Pitchfork Festival in 2008 where they're interviewing, I think it's Animal Collective, and they're saying the two bands that they want to go see are No Age and Boris, who were like my two favorites at that point, and then also Animal Collective, obviously. So definitely like the Animal Collective read I vibe with, the sort of like it just being, because both of you described going to see No Age not with much more specifics than like, oh, it was just like the pinnacle of us having fun as 20-somethings. And like drinking and stuff. I think I read a little more into it than that, perhaps, because I knew that they were connected to sort of like art with a capital A, but also to yeah, like punk. Like I remember reading this interview with them where they talked about how if they could bring one band back, it would be Infest. And I was really into Infest at that point too. And I was like, oh wow, cool. So they do know about punk.
Yeah, because
And then
I also remember them constantly name dropping No Trend all the time.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, in the Nouns booklet, there's like a photograph of Dan Deacon playing live, who like I saw like a gazillion times then. I also went to the No Deke Hunter tour, which was like in retrospect, like sort of extremely cringe, but it's like, it was like No Age, Dan Deacon, and Deer Hunter playing a collaborative set. But yeah, no, I mean, I was obsessed with PPM and that world, and I did go to Ooga Booga once, which is the store that you couldn't remember the name of that's in Chinatown it's in Little Tokyo in LA.
You know what I bought there? It's funny. I don't think I mentioned what I bought there because I was trying to present that I was buying like really highbrow, snooty shit. But I remember what I bought there, and it was a Treehouse of Horror issue of the Simpsons comic, but it was all the stories were made by like underground comic artists. Like I'm pretty sure there's like a Johnny Ryan Simpsons comic in it. It was fucking sick actually, but not very highbrow, I think.
I remember, what did I get? I got like a bunch of 7-inches. I got the Mika Miko 666 12-inch. I already had the like sort of signature No Age rainbow t-shirt, which we can talk about in a second. But the other thing that I got there was this like little book of interviews that I actually still have from the zine that's just called Woo. But the one that I remember from it is they're trying to interview David Byrne while he's riding a bike. And it's like they ask him one question and then he answers it and just sort of rides away. That's what the transcription says. It could just be totally made up. I'm not sure, but that stuck with me. I think you also nailed it when you said that their music is kind of goofy. I mean, I think you didn't want to call it goofy, but I think it is goofy. I think that's like part of what's good about it.
Do you mean like now? Because I feel like when I think back to this episode that we did like a week ago, I feel like I was mostly hedging that I perceive No Age as being kind of people in 2021, people don't respect No Age the way that they did. And I think they burned too brightly at the time, and now everyone thinks that it's the same as Japan Droids. And that upsets me.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they signed to Sub Pop and did like a bunch of records with them that I don't think anyone has listened to. No disrespect, Dean or Randall, if you're listening. Love you. But yeah, like I think that's maybe part of it. But I mean, I was just talking to John from aka Todd Killings, shouts out. I don't know if your real name is supposed to be revealed on here, but just about, and also people in the Discord have been saying that like people made fun of No Age a lot at the time. And I don't think I realized at the time that like potentially like real punk people would be making fun of them and like sort of not be down with them, like posturing that they were in on the punk scene. But
it's also shocking that there's theoretically real punk people in the Discord of a podcast that is formerly a Blink-182 podcast hosted by two middle-aged Canadian guys. Like, that's
I mean, I guess, but like, I think that's well established as like part of the magic of this podcast, right? Is that like, I mean, there's a reason why Inepsy Gate happened. You know, like it's not like you said something incorrect about a D-beat band and then no one cared.
Right.
Like people knew enough to get upset about it. I think like it's established that that's a dynamic at play here. Like I don't think most of the whatever. I don't know about the analytics. That's not my department. That's more intern, not me. I'm sort of technical side of things here, but we'd have to call 155 West to figure that out. This is 155 Central here. Anyway.
So you're saying, like when you say that they're kind of goofy, what do you mean by that?
Well, they're goofy in the way that I think like any, like what was appealing to them about me and what was kind of disappointing about seeing them live was that I just feel like they self-consciously harnessed a lot of aesthetic things in performance that were very strong in like DIY shows. Like my favorite video of them is when they're playing at Amoeba and during Everybody's Down, and Dean just leaves the drum set and is like wandering around. And they play it for like twice as long, and he's just sort of like freestyling. doing the lyrics like in as much time as he wants while the guitar player is playing. And to me, that's like way more like this sort of like DIY punk sort of choreography than just seeing them play on a stage or whatever. I do remember when they played in Boston, when I saw them, they broke a string, and then while changing the string, they left the guitar on with all the pedals on, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I think, where was I going with this? To that end, there's a flyer that I saw on the Youth Attack news section in 2013 that No Age played a show with Perfume River at Philomoka in 2013. And Perfume River is like they are like a for real punk band. And this dude, Nick Fit, is in that band, who's like this sort of super trendy punk graphic designer dude. I mean, but then also like, there's this whole story of like Dean meeting John Weiss at CalArts because he was taking classes there or something. And like John Weiss, of course, like is in the band Sissy Spacek. He's like sort of he's collaborated with Wolf Eyes a bunch. He's like one of these sort of like hi-fi noise dudes. David Scottstone like plays on one of the 7-inches, the original 7-inches, and he's sort of like a heady modular synth dude. And then also, I mean, sort of the connection that I also think is cool. Well, and also I looked at the PPM. I think it's the 10 or 20 year anniversary show is coming up, and they did book Chronophage, who are also like sort of a contemporary like DIY punk band who I played with at this festival in Oklahoma called Everything Is Not Okay. And then the final one is that Dean, not as PPM, but just as himself, released a CD by Odwalla 88, who I think rebranded as Odwalla 1221, but they're like hyper pretentious. I almost wish Sam was here so we could watch this, but like, yeah, just like the most like unlistenable. I mean, I love them, but like also, yeah, it's just like basically like almost not music, like just samples and like talking. But like it was like the hottest shit in like 2015, 2016 for just, yeah, like pretentious noise people. So shouts out to Odwalla 88.
So the point that you're making is that they are sick, is basically.
I just want to validate that I do think that they have these like real links to like actual like cool shit, even like after they sort of fully sold out. They're still like very much like tapped in, which I think is like cool. And I think is like validates your point that they legitimately were this meeting place of like, you know, Odwalla 88, who went on to, you know, perform a show at Blank Forms in New York, which is sort of like reserved for, you know, art music. But then they also played a show with Perfume River like a few years earlier than that. So I think it's like, it's legitimate connection. I mean, I think,
and they're also, but yeah, you're right. They're also label mates with the Flight of the Conchords soundtrack.
Right? Yeah,
release.
it could be this weird. Also, and then I mean, it goes back to sort of what we were talking about before we got started, which is like, is this a band that like, are they at the limit of what they can sort of do as a major label band? Like, is this the limit of like band as commodity? Like, can they get past that? Or is it just, I mean, I found it so interesting that your primary touch point for describing them isn't like art that you would see in a gallery. It's always the art book. It's always the hardcover book. It's
well,
always
even
like,
just as you're talking about that, I think something that shows that you're on the right path. I'm sorry to interrupt your path. That is, I think is correct. But the fact that they would name one of their Sub Pop albums on Object is like absolutely some art book shit.
Yeah, that's like some sort of banging my head against the wall, like Walter Benjamin shit right there. But yeah, but I think, I mean, just even like before any of that, like this whole thing of them be like having brand activation energy, I think is also like spot on. And I think like them doing this kind of thing now, like if a band did what they did now, it would be like really stupid and lame, I think. And like sort of transparently like materialistic and not interesting. But then there's also that evergreen tweet about like, you know, being mad that a band sold out because like, you know, they had like a song in a movie, but then now being like, oh, this new band like has a partnership with Cheetos, like we stan, you know, like it's everywhere. like I think advertising is just so much more pervasive or something like that. But this is also coming from me who like pretty much absorbed No Age entirely like through the mediation of Pitchfork. So,
But
yeah,
that
I think
still
this,
with noted DIY thinker Ryan Schreiber at the helm.
Ryan Schreiber. So I don't think works there anymore, but
I think he's like a tech guy now. Honestly,
interesting. I mean, that's sort of the inevitable for if you start
everyone.
thinking publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I really want to get to, which is my criticism of the show overall, but not really a criticism, more just a comment, I guess, is that you actually didn't use this word in the episode, and I'm shocked that you didn't. But often you and Sam will describe lyrics as evocative when you want to describe them as being like meaningful, basically. Like, and you didn't say that for these lyrics, but I feel like that's what I
This
thought
is the
you
one
would say for
time
them.
that would apply accurately.
Yeah, totally. But I think
what I mean is that it's evocative. I think when I say evocative, I'm trying to say meaningless, but say it nicely. Because it's not meaningful. It evokes something, but you don't really know what it's evoking.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying is like you guys love to throw around the word evocative without ever saying what it evokes. And I was thinking about like alternatives to that. And I think like potentially like what you mean is this like combination of like ambiguity, but also like it's ambiguous, but you also trust the artist. Like if the artist has swag or whatever, like if they have enough like pull that you can trust them, then that ambiguity can turn into something that's evocative. Like we can trust that there's a narrative that we just don't have access to. Like who is Roy? I'm exhausted too, Roy. Like who the fuck is Roy?
Yeah.
What do you like? It's capitalized, but like it might as well like. So anyway,
It could be
I mean,
Roy,
like,
who's the human version of Poochie in the Poochie episode.
Interesting. I actually have no idea what that is, but
people younger than me have never seen The Simpsons, and I think I understand. I'm starting to learn.
I've seen The Simpsons.
Okay, well that's,
but I haven't seen that episode. I've only seen seasons like 3, 5, 6, I think. Is the
You've never
Poochie
seen
episode
the?
in that?
I think the Poochie episode is probably the only important episode at this point of the season.
I don't know. I mean, it's gonna sound so stock at this point, but like, I don't like rewatch them. Like, The Simpsons is just like annoying. Fucking whatever. Anyway, I'm all about The Sopranos now. Just dude, Did you? No, I'm not gonna steal your bit right here and say the thing, but I read these lyrics and I'm thinking
save it for the Globe Health guest spot.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Which, by the way,
definitely.
real quick, we're not done, obviously, but real quick, this is since Sam's not here, we're gonna do a quick Globe Hell shout out because we have like a Globe Hell Teespring merch store. Oh wait, I don't know if this is a secret or not, but you've bought some of the merch. I was curious if you could give a review of your merch that you bought.
Yes. Okay, well, true heads know that I am a gym rat now, so I am always looking for sort of like compression shorts and tights and stuff like that to wear under the shorts. So I did spring for the Globe Hell black and white shorts and leggings, and they are extremely sick. They fit perfectly. Although I needed a large in leggings and a small in shorts or something like that, or maybe it's the other way around. But they have like just read the sizes, but the sizes are accurate, but they're drastically adjusted between those two. Yeah, the shorts are tight. They say Globe and then warning right on the ass and sort of down the thigh. They actually would make really cool cycling shorts, I think, although that's not something that I do. But and then they're a little thicker than like what I would expect from athletic wear, but I think that means that they'll be warm when it's cold out. So I think they'd be really good for like running outside in a colder climate. But
That's
they
great.
They look fucking sick, honestly. I definitely would recommend them.
See, that's kind of like while we're talking about pretentious shit, it's kind of almost an anti-design because I had just put the Global logo on a hoodie and then I saw that I could just check mark tights and bike shorts and I didn't change the placement in any way and it just like made this like fucked up disaster.
Yeah.
And I guess it worked. So that kind of, what does that mean is my question.
Well, I think that speaks to the general sort of like the gestural strategy of Globe Hell and the like aesthetic strategy of Globe Hell, which is to sort of like let the algorithm do its thing and just sort of lightly comment with the algorithm, but you're mostly just like allowing the algorithm to you just play the most like deranged videos that you can find that like pop up on YouTube for you, and like retweet like the weirdest shit, like, you know. And I think that's similar to the strategy of just being like, oh, just slap the brand on there and let the automation do the rest. Like however like the normie algorithm wants to interpret this image, like let it interpret it that way. Just in the same way as like let the YouTube search bar interpret like, you know, enlightening toilet sounds, like however it's going to. To me, that's like the link if I'm giving you a lot of credit, but
I deserve it because I'm the boss. But back to No Age, I guess what I really want to talk about is like, for some reason, we're so mean to every band indirectly and directly constantly. And when I say we, I mean me, and Sam just kind of goes along with anything that's said pretty much. But even
Sam, are you going to take that?
I mean, yeah. Sam listens to the guest spots. What I'm saying is,
and if you're not listening to this, I am so mad at you right now.
What I'm trying to say is, I feel like we weren't even very mean to No Age, but I still feel like I need to correct course. I feel like this band is more important than even I've given them credit for, or at least more respectable in the sense that like we're talking about a moment where they were, I don't know, some fucking New York Times Magazine article about the next Seattle happened to be the smell that week when people used to care about that sort of thing. And then it blew up, and then they're on Sub Pop, which you keep calling a major label, which that we might get in trouble for that too, because I think it's 51% independent.
Well, if Sam's not listening, then no one's going to report that, so it's fine.
That's true. That is true. But you know, then they like rode this wave of hype. They released some shoes or whatever. And actually, I was reading this article with the Village Voice. This interview with the Village Voice that Dean did like 10 years ago about the No Age shirt. And he was talking about how he wanted to just make like an iconic logo that was kind of on par, not on par, but like as recognizable to his scene as like the Crass logo or the Black Flag bars. And he just talked about the journey of this and how like he was even aware and glad that people knew the shirt more than the music. And then in the week since we did the episode, people have been talking to me like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that band so much, but I didn't know their songs. So it's like he even knew and signaled this kind of, like it all felt very controlled. But I guess what I'm trying to say is they've ridden this whole roller coaster, and yet they're still making records on Drag City. I listened to the two most recent ones, and actually I kind of think that they've become more like Gun Outfit or something now. Like it's more like it feels like folk songs in a way. But I guess I'm just trying to say like there's something about the purity of what No Age was doing and the control of what they have that I do think they could be the kind of band that goes on forever. And it's like Crazy Horse or something where it's like if you want to just check in on what they've been doing, there'll always be something interesting, but it's maybe not going to ever be like, you know, the true hype anymore. But I think that's better than like, I don't know, being some flash in the pan punk hype thing that everyone gets canceled or becomes a tech guy or something 3 years later.
Yeah. I mean, I think committing to a long-term artistic project is something that I can absolutely respect. I feel like they both, if they wanted to, probably have. I mean, I don't know their lives, but like, it doesn't read like it because they're not like constantly. They're not like trying to do like hype grabs anymore like they did at first. Like the initial wave was such a sort of like cultural moment. I don't think they're trying to manufacture that again, which makes me think that it is coming from a place of earnesty. This is like, I mean, I haven't listened to them at all, so I don't know what the newer stuff is like. I definitely am going to check it out now, but no, yeah. I mean, I think like there isn't anything inherently wrong with doing a band and then just sort of letting it continue and bringing new things to it. Like, I think that's cool. Yeah, I like, I don't know. I think like if you're a band like the Rolling Stones where they're like wheeling you out to continue to do the thing again and again and again, like until you die, literally, that's another story. That
would be sick, though. Imagine like a Weekend at Bernie's style 90-year-old Dean Spont singing the "Everybody's Down" intro.
Yeah, totally.
Marionetted over the crowd at some sort of. Well, I guess by then it's going to be holograms or something.
Right. I mean, who knows? I think again, Globe Hell is where to go if you want to learn about the future and technology and sort of.
True. We were watching this week. We were watching the Vice virtual Lower East Side Second Life thing from around the same time. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that we're all still unpacking the trauma of the late 2000s.
Well, just I mean, think about this. Compare. You brought up the Death Set in the episode. Like, just compare No Age to the Death Set. Like, No Age is the cool and not annoying version of the Death Set. Like the Death Set, like they have to be part of every single local scene. They constantly are moving. They're wearing the flipped up hats. Like,
and aren't they Australian also?
Yeah, they're originally Australian, but then I think they lived in Canada. They lived in New York. I think Florida. They did Baltimore too. They jumped on the whole Wham City thing. Like, they just had to ride it. Like, the reason I saw them was because I went to like the Wham City round robin tour, and they were on that for some reason.
You're like a huge Wham City head. Just admit it. You're fucking.
I mean, at the time for sure. I mean, I don't like Dan Deacon anymore.
Whoa,
I think
shots fired.
Shots fired. I mean, I go back and I listen to Spider-Man and the Rings, and I'm like, this is music for babies, which is fine.
You do talk some shit on like neon colored noisy late 2000s music, because I've never met anyone who talks shit on Lightning Bolt like you do.
Oh, do you want to talk about Lightning Bolt right now?
I mean, it seems
you really want to do this right now.
If there's ever going to be a time or a place.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, it's again, well, let's compare No Age to Lightning Bolt, right? Like, maybe let's not do that. I don't know.
There is something in this song that I thought it had a tiny bit. There's a pinch of Lightning Bolt in it, but I think what you don't like about Lightning Bolt is that it's so epic. And I think as I get older, I don't like things that are epic in general, including opinions or jokes or really pretty much anything. I think everyone just needs to be more subdued, which is like everything about No Age is more subdued. So if we're comparing those two, that's probably the vibe.
Wow. Okay. You have done all my work for me here. Yes. Okay. That is exactly what I was going to say. Like, No Age is like cool. They're not like, I mean, they are like breaking a sweat, like, shredding the drums, and I was playing shredding the sampler and the drums and the guitar. Like, they're definitely like, I mean, seeing them live is definitely, there's power and energy, but they're also, it's
aloof,
effortless, and it's not like Lightning Bolt where the whole thing is just like, but I mean, personally, I have never been into Lightning Bolt. I think for me, there wasn't enough to like grab onto in it. I think maybe if it had like vocals or something, I would have been into it, but I always was just kind of like, it's too, like, these are songs, but they're not like interesting enough for me to like be into, to like
Have you ever heard Lightning Bolt? Like, are you insane?
Well, look, it's just they're like really simple.
They've
got
really
like
borderline Tom DeLonge riffing going on.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. But I need, like, Tom DeLonge riffing is nothing without like Tom DeLonge singing. Like, I need like something else going on there. Like, either I want it to be like, okay, but so what I'm getting at here is like, I personally have never been into them. That's like, there's no accounting for taste, whatever. But I think the other issue that I have with them is that I think like their importance is potentially overstated, but I also realized that it was a thing you had to be there for, and I was not there for it. So I like only had the records, and I did not have the physical records, but I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but like, this isn't really for me. But I also never saw them live. Maybe if I saw them live, I would be like super into it. I mean, I have friends who like have, collaborated with them and stuff. So I get that, like,
it's just very weird that you don't. It just seems like all of the context clues point to you liking them, but maybe that's why you don't like them. It's like when people tell me that they can't believe I don't like the Hard Times because I should like the Hard Times, and like that's like so. It's so. It actually is a way of. It's like it's like being seen in a way that you don't like, which I have previously described as the Poochie effect, and yet you've never seen that episode because I think you're lying to me about the culture that you consume. I think you're lying to your boss right now. And by the way, your urine test came back, and it was cum. It was all cum.
Whoa! What? I thought they were the same. Okay.
Caleb, before
I'm
we
in
get,
big trouble now.
before we get into covers, which I think no, maybe not. I feel like we might listen to your cover first, which is fucked up.
No, I think I'm last. Yeah, and I can talk about that if you want. I have a whole story for that might relate to this, but we've talked for rather a long time, so we don't need to do that. But
well, I mean,
if you want to,
you've already heard the whole episode, so you can decide if it needs more or less. I mean, I'm at this point, I'm just sitting here hoping that I've hired the right person, but I don't know if I have yet.
well, what Ned and I were talking about a lot this week, because we're both like, No Age was sort of similar for us at a similar time. Like this band that I think inspired both of us to, in some ways, want to pursue both like DIY music and art making, because this seemed like a way that like by trying to like emulate this path, this was like how to do both of those things or something. But we talked about how like, so the cover that we made, like initially I was inspired by, I like really didn't know what I was going to do, and I knew I had to do something. And I was just on last Monday, I was like so tired and miserable, and I was on the bus home and I was listening to Ruins by Grouper, and I was like, oh, this is kind of similar actually to the structure of Everything's Down. It's basically just two notes and then singing the same two notes that the piano is playing. So I was like, what if we kind of did like super like just down tempo, two guitar notes and singing like in that kind of style. So that's like where it came from. It doesn't really sound like that in execution, but that was our motivation. But what we talked about a lot was that both Ned and I saw Grouper on the tour that she went on with Animal Collective in 2009, when they were touring Merriweather Post Pavilion, which is I think a pivotal moment because that's when we start to see the alt bro emerge. And both of us, in our experience seeing Ned in Ohio and me in Boston, we saw the same tour. And Grouper got essentially booed off stage at both of them by people who were just chanting for "They Want to Hear My Girls."
Sick.
And I think like for both of us, like the band out of like Animal Collective, No Age, Grouper that has staying power is Grouper, and I think that's like what we sort of, that's like the next wave after No Age is like, instead of I mean, it's also the beginning of just like sad as a personality type on the internet. So I think like it's definitely whatever. That's like I think how our cover, like on a meta textual level or whatever, like maybe no, that's not the right word. This is more of a intertextual level, relates to the original source material. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. But
wow,
yeah, we can do the ending of the thing now.
Wow. And then, so Society went from No Age to Grouper, and then eventually they went to Groiper. So that's what happened. Caleb, thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do. And I really cannot state enough how little we pay you to help us out, and we really do appreciate it.
Well, you're laying me off anyway, so
it's true. So it's not you tried to unionize, and look what happened. We're a family business, so you fucked up big time. Is there anywhere that you want to plug for people who aren't like on Discord 24/7, like talking about whatever the fuck you guys are talking about in there?
Yeah, sure. My website is calebwmm.website. If you're a gallerist and you'd like to represent me, please get in touch. Or if you run the undergraduate or graduate art department at a university and you would like to hire me to teach photography or photography history, please get in touch. I make music. You can find my music at drstrain.bandcamp.com. If you're a booking agent and you're looking for like an alt-looking white guitar player to fill out like an industry plant touring band, please get in touch with me. And I make nightcore on YouTube. My channel is Sparkling Caleb. You can follow me on social media at Sparkling Caleb, although I don't really post very much. I'm very bad at Twitter. If you're hiring someone to, I don't know, you have a podcast and you ask for covers every week and you need someone to run them through mastering software and upload them to Bandcamp. I'm going to have an opening pretty soon for that, so get in touch. Yeah.
Sam, people like you. I don't know why off mic in the break right now you were just saying people don't like you. Maybe it's because
you know why.
You refuse to come up with a succinct way to tell everybody about our Patreon.
I know. I mean, that might be the barrier, because I just want to tell everyone that all these covers come from our Patreon gatekeepers. And I want to tell people that they were all made in less than 96 hours. And I want to tell people that for only $5 a month, they can get the early tip on next week's songs, although a change is a-coming. So we're into No Theme Vember. This is our last month.
No Theme-ber.
No theme. Sorry, I guess I fucked up the joke. It's like when I was like, global hell warning. What? No theme burr. So this is the last one. So if you've been listening and you're like, damn, I wish I could hear Sam and Josiah say my name and go fucking sick when we listen to your music, this is it.
No theme burr.
No, 3 more weeks in No Theme burr. So for $5 a month, you get the early tip on next week's song. Plus you get bonus episodes, early episodes, newsletter, and access to the Discord.
See, if I was like, hey Sam, how's it going? And you said all this shit to me, like I get it. I understand why people don't like you.
Yeah, so you're sympathetic. Are you sympathetic when I also tell you that all of these songs will be available in full on the What We Do Bandcamp on Monday? How does that make you feel?
Also, I got to say, once No Theme Burr is over, there is something else for those with cover energy. There's something coming up in December that is going to be profoundly stupid. I think it's one of the worst ideas I've ever had, in a good way.
And that is of course a high bar to clear.
It's a high, low bar. It's high and low. Just like, I don't know. I can't think of an example of something that's high, low anymore. I'm too confused.
That's it.
It's just like the Kim Kardashian Rizzoli book. Kravis, I think, is high-low at this point. Okay. So, I'm so
pumped.
I'm very excited and kind of nervous. That's why I picked this one for No Theme Burr, because I always wanted to hear covers of this song. And I'm so excited. So up first, Demographic, Everybody's Down. This is Althea Later, Moon, Cat Guard, Fish Tricks, Shoes, Soothing, SMLBF, and Unentitled. I mean, the gang is all here. They're being all these people are being as accessible as possible. They've written "Long Live the Cover Section." I agree. Long live the cover section. Of course, it will be dead soon, but for now, long live it. Here's Demographic.
Not afraid of laughter. Sense of feeling too. All the things they feed with dirt make me feel like I can do it. Everybody's down. Everybody's down. It's time to call someone to fall. No one is around.
I mean, that's the exact kind of art installation energy I was hoping for. I felt like I was visiting the Canadian Centre for Architecture, one of my favorite places to hang out in Montreal, looking at the philosophy of window panes books in the bookstore. I mean, that's the kind of shit I'm so down with. Hell yeah, that was so sick.
Yeah, I love that because it didn't give me the sort of specifically dorky vibe that you're describing. Because I guess because I drink maybe, so like, you know, I have other things to do with my time than appreciate architecture that are dumber. But that was like when I'm like, yo, do I love art? Like, that's what that feels like.
Yeah, and honestly, thank God you don't, because every time you almost like stuff that I like, I get really
I know.
worried that I've lost it. So I'm glad.
No, don't worry.
When
Don't
I
worry.
recommended the film Wood and Water, which I think is the best film I've seen this year, the fact that you watched the trailer and started talking about like zombie holocaust or some shit, I was like, okay, phew, things are still correct in this
Well, I
world.
initially was talking about Leviathan and Kaniba, films that I have heard of and tried to watch but cannot finish.
But even those,
and then I started talking about Cannibal Holocaust.
those two
yeah.
films being your like go-to snooty, boring films, I was like, yeah, you're still on some fucking trauma shit. Like, you're never gonna be.
Because my idea of a snooty film is still like a man eats someone. Like, it's still.
Exactly.
I know. You also just the newsletter is really, I think.
It's
we
good.
don't promote it well,
the
but people do read it. Like, I know it gets read, but when you prep it, the last couple of weeks, Josiah, you've forgotten to change out the links for your thing. So, like with Wood and Water, I feel like you hadn't swapped out whatever it was for last week. So I just went and grabbed
So
the
you're
trailer. But then the same thing happened.
being pretty
this
passive
week.
aggressive right now, but that's
I'm
cool.
not. I'm just trying to contextualize here. It's not a big deal. It's very easy. And also, I don't even send out the newsletter anymore. Our intern does. But you hadn't swapped out the Wood and Water trailer for the Tiger King 2 trailer. So I like read the Tiger King 2 thing, opened up the window, but I had it go. I was like, I'm just going to like listen to this while I read what you've written about it. And then just these like vibey sounds were
Hell
playing. And I was
yeah.
like, is Tiger King 2 like super artistic? And I was like, no, of course not. Tiger King 2 is like, and then I had a gun. And then you don't know how deep this goes. Fucking like a parody of a true crime trailer. But it was
So
initially quite
good.
disorienting for me. There was like a mashup happening there. Not a great story, but
Yeah, probably not worth it, but you know what? There's time. I do want to say though, we haven't talked about this, but I think for the newsletter, I think we should do like our best of the year kind of stuff too coming up. Like,
yes, totally.
because I don't write about anything anywhere anymore other than like.
Well, and I usually do every year. I always do stuff like I do these things just for myself. So I'm ready to go. Best of the year.
Anyways,
Let's,
enough about us. Back to No Age and these interpretations.
Mm-hmm.
This is Best Wishes with Everybody's Down. This is so cool.
holy fuck.
That's so cool. What a cool chord progression to add to it. That's so
Yeah,
sick.
that was so sick.
That's something
Yeah,
I wanted
these are
to
going to be good. Okay, no Thieber is really delivering.
I was going to say earlier, something I love about this song is that it has no real chord progression. It changes a little bit when the drums come in. The guitar changes a little bit, but I love when a song can be built off of just do 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 and still have like enough of a melody that you remember it from. It all comes from the singing from Dean Spunt, the singer. So sick. And that was
all comes
amazing.
from spunting.
It comes from Spunt. Everything comes from Spunt, really.
I really agree that the essence of life is spunt.
I don't know who Best Wishes is, but I wish you nothing but the damn best. Here's 20th Century with Everybody's Down.
It's time to call someone.
This has no twist energy, big time. Holy shit.
Oh, fuck. I cannot wait to hear all of these.
See, like, we had already decided a while ago that it was time to move things around and
We've
get
made
rid of
a
covers.
mistake.
Well, I
We
was gonna
have to go back.
I was gonna say, like, in the middle of Fest month, I was kind of like, all right, I don't want to have to hear all these songs a million times over, but I was hoping to feel that kind of sadness. And now I feel this. I feel the good sadness from this, knowing that, like, this is so beautiful and good that we get to destroy something so nice. Is what I'm saying. I feel powerful now by
Right.
ruining something
You just
special.
wanted to destroy something beautiful, I believe.
That was incredible, though. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was fucking
That
awesome.
was so good. Drill Rod up next. Dirt. This is, of course, the Rocks How guy. And this says Dirt in the tar sands. Everybody's down. Fort McMurray. Here we go.
Fuck yeah.
Is everybody down with the tar sands? I haven't been to Alberta in a while, so I don't know. I mean, most people probably are, or if they're not, it's because their life is paid for by someone who is or was down with the tar sands. So I guess it does make sense, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't want to weigh into tar sands discourse, but I like that.
I don't want to weigh into Tarzan discourse, but Jane is freaking. I don't know what to say about Jane. Actually, it wouldn't be. I don't know enough about Tarzan discourse to talk about Jane.
Yeah, you know what? If you don't have anything to add to the Jane discourse, I think
There
it's
is
just
something.
best to stay-
Actually, there is something kind of Tarzan-y in this song when he goes "ooh" in the lyrics. So
Ooh,
that kind of
interesting.
does work. Here's
But
fish,
are you allowed to do that? Can you still, like?
here's fish tricks.
Is that? Stupid.
That's so cool. That was
Holy shit! That's like one of my favorite. I think that's one of my favorite Fish Tricks tracks yet. And like Fish Tricks a pretty consistently sick contributor.
It's true. I mean, that was definitely the slowest Fish Tricks that we've heard, and I can't wait to hear what happens with the next minute and 20 seconds. Because of course, the caption says loopy, and looping shit with a looping pedal. I mean, that's some real 2009 wave shit to do too. Like,
Yeah, bring back loop pedals.
when looping pedals dropped, my god, that was crazy. Folks.
Change the game.
Change the
Owen
game.
Ballard is still famous.
There Aren't Many Left is the name of this artist. Everybody's Down, Diana Spouse, Be Left mix. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to the newly formed Cultural Workers Union Local 155. See you at the merch table, the bargaining table, and the kitchen table. Worldwide table. Gonna flip the tables like JC. Gonna flip the bosses like a pancake. Surfs up. SERFS. That's such a good caption.
Yeah, that's amazing. Surfs, of course, obviously spelled.
We would appreciate it if you don't unionize against us, though, because it is. This is our show. We are the bosses.
It's going to make things more complicated. You don't
Yeah.
need a union. We already care.
Exactly. Oh my god, look, it's us as a pancake for the art.
It's fucking terrifying.
It's so nasty.
Joined together society style.
Oh my god.
This is fucking incredible.
This is so beautiful.
Not afraid of laughter, sense of feeling too. All the things they feed with dirt make me.
Oh, it's really hard to turn these off. It's really hard to turn them
this
off.
This is great. This is real. We're having a great time.
We're having a real nice afternoon here on a Thursday afternoon, recording at what is not a podcast-friendly time, but it's happening. It's working. Great.
Yeah, totally.
Everybody's
when
down.
the covers are this good, every time is podcast friendly. Everybody's down.
We're having a real everybody's down moment here, I think. Okay, up next is Death Tent. Ern wanted to say they meant no ill will calling you guys middle-aged and that they love their middle-aged friends like Dottie. Yeah, that's the thing. So it was Ern S. them that said that we're middle-aged. I was talking about that last week on the Ergs episode, how it really stung. And then the Discord, since that came out, they said, I really didn't mean anything by it. I mean, just considering that most cultures, the average life expectancy is 70, you literally are middle-aged. And that made it so much worse to contextualize it like that. So,
yeah, I didn't care for any of that.
I think we just need to go back to 2009.
Yeah.
Charlie
Everything
XCX.
about it. The podcast is just going to be a blog spot now.
Back to 2009. That's what we should do for the newsletter. Just launch a blog spot. That would be so cool. So much shit talking opportunities. Okay, here we go. Death Tent. Sick.
Yeah, holy fuck.
So sick. Oh my god. And that's
everyone is down.
And that's
Everybody.
two middle-aged guys saying that. See, I mean, you're telling me that our combined ages are death, and that's fucked. We've both, if I lived the rest of my life, I'm trying to think of how this would work. Both of us are halfway to death, past it now, 36. If we switched places and lived our entire each other's lives now, would that be an interesting way to combine that?
Like if we body swapped?
I was trying to think, what if from 36 to 72, I now lived your experiences and you now lived mine?
I don't want to go to the architecture shop.
It's so cool, though. The books are so cool and confusing in a cool way.
I mean, it does sound amazing.
You never thumb through a Apartamento magazine and be like, damn, blankets are so cool.
Here's the thing. Like, I would go to the Apartamento store and be like, this is fucking sick. Why isn't this what I do with my life? And then I just kind of go back to the shit that I always do because that's just how life works.
It's not like I open any of these books, but I'd love to buy like a $35 literary journal from the Harvard bookstore about punk and like never open it and just put it on a shelf. And it feels so good to have that on your shelf.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's body swap. Sounds great.
Diana Spouse, everybody's down. Diana Spouse writes, last month of covers means I'm going to be putting my whole thussy into these ones.
Yes.
That's great. I can't wait to hear your entire thussy. We're starting at 155 on here. I think we've already already heard the remix of this one by Be Left earlier.
The only hope when we're dead, get no joy, always hate within. Everybody's down, everybody's down. It's time to call someone to fall, but no one is around. Everybody's down, everybody's down. Every soul in every town, everybody's got me going.
Maybe this should just be the last episode of the pod, actually.
I don't think it would be bad for our legacy.
It's pretty good. Of course, Blink-182 is going to announce a new album tomorrow, probably, with our fucking luck.
Oh, that was so sick.
That Diane Spouse is ridiculously good. I mean, all of these are, but it's like something about their voice, just like it's cut so deep. It's so pure sounding. Oh my god.
I want to go back and I want to listen to that in its entirety, and I want to hear the remix.
Yeah,
I want that full
back to
experience.
back. Totally. I mean, that's some 2009 energy. Put out like a 10-inch with those back to back.
The remixes
A picture
on it?
disc.
Yeah, totally.
That's a pretty cool idea. Or maybe even a CD single might have existed around then. Some of the last CD singles. Captain Dottie B. Zuckerton Esquire. Everybody's down. It's the beginning of the end. Nice vibe.
Not afraid of laughter. Sense of fear and true. All the things they feed with dirt.
Okay,
Ooh,
like totally
baby.
new chord progression, which is sick. Like there's so much you can do with this song and still have it be
Because
the
it's
same.
fairly minimal, and so I
song.
feel like it's just like open to different ways of playing it.
Up next
As
is
long as everybody's down, you're fine.
exactly, and that's the thing. Unentitled is next. Who writes, "If possible, play this before Demographics cover." Well, that is the first one we played, so that's not possible. So you're going to need to go ahead. Unentitled. I know you've been the one giving everyone the stems of the songs. You've been the one chopping them up. You're going to need to go ahead and chop up the episode and put this before the other one if you want to hear it that way. Otherwise, I'm sorry, but I can't do anything. I can't go back in time. Last week we were doing a little bit of time travel, but this week is all real time. Unless
we kind of time traveled back to 2009 in a pretty significant way.
That's true. And also maybe if there is a guest this week, we've done some interesting time play. And I ain't talking about Cineplex time play. Unless we get Tanner Z on the show. That could be cool.
Oh, maybe. Do you think Tanner Z liked No Age? I bet Tanner Z got swept up in this moment.
He might have. All right, here's the Everybody's Here interlude from Unentitled. Something that was recorded in this small of a window, because we did give them less time this week, it shouldn't sound this good.
Like outraged. Yeah, this was the timing on this was unique, and the fact that some people pulled this off. Normally people have the weekend basically to record, and this was all done on school nights.
This sounds fucking
This is gorgeous.
expensive. Holy shit.
I've made money just listening to it for a minute.
I wish that I had heard that before I heard Demographics cover, to be honest. But that was
Let's re-record the episode.
Good. That was beautiful. I'm
Those
loving
are great. And it wasn't as an interlude. It is sort of, I think, coming around the midpoint in the cover section.
That's true.
It's kind of doing its job.
It did work. Up next is Baby Tyler, who, in lieu of making baby jokes, I just want to point out, I'm not the one saying this. Maybe I'm feeling this, but the caption here says, "Bless up for a Joe's pick after this last month." It's kind of what the caption says here. So I don't know if that. I mean, do I win? Am I winning here, or?
I think.
Are you winning?
I'm at least disrespected. I think for sure.
But that's the thing. Like, do you feel like you have the ability to defend yourself right now, or is there anything you can even say?
Well, no, because like the Ergs episode was fucking sick.
That's true. It was.
And the Hot Water Music episode was fucking sick.
That's true.
So, and the Lawrence Arms, like I picked a song that I thought would annoy you, and it did.
That's true. Okay, that's pretty good. What was the other thing
Right?
we did?
And
I don't
then
remember.
Reviver was also sick.
Okay, so
I think it was just more like too much of a good thing, like where you just belly full of candy. You know,
I think it's because everybody wasn't down, but this week everybody's down.
I think that's it.
Oh my god. This getting me so hyped up.
I'm standing and I'm clapping right now.
Are you still?
Yeah.
Oh, you just know this one's gonna hit. When this one comes in. Oh my god! Wait, are you doing day? Because it's day potting. Are you potting from a standing desk today?
I was potting from a standing desk like 2 nights ago too.
Holy shit! Wait, what?
I pot upright.
Have you always been, since you've moved? Have you been potting while standing?
No, this is like new.
Is
to
this
the last
stand up
few
potting?
weeks. I've been stand up.
What was your first
stand up?
What was your first time that
Stand-up
you stood?
episode?
You stood up at the potty all by yourself.
Well, I'm thinking. I feel like Reviver might have been like I'm not sure, but just
because you felt it. Well, look, I'm sorry that I just attacked you about your fest month, and I'm sorry for what I'm about to say, but I think you stood up because you felt empowered by Reviver as a short guy to stand at the front.
I was like, this is my time. That's it. And I refused to sit back down.
Baby Tyler, that was incredible, and
that was fucking awesome.
I think maybe Baby Tyler is the, if not definitely one of the only people to have done a cover every single week in the last year. Like, that's wild.
It's absolutely outrageous. I feel like all of the people who have done every week or like most weeks must be extremely elated that they can kind of retire on
maybe work
on
on
their own. I guess it's not on their own terms, but it just means that they don't have to wait till they fucking hate it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, up next is Teen Jazz. Everybody's Down featuring Travis Barker. Wow, that's a big get. The song was going fairly well until I got to the last part. I couldn't quite get it right, so I reached out to a special someone to see if he would be down. He was kind of busy over the weekend. He understood I was a teen in need artistically, not literally. So he laid down some tasteful drum parts. Thanks, Travis. So we're starting halfway through. Hopefully we'll get to hear some of Travis Barker's drumming on Everybody's Down. I can't wait to hear Travis on here. I mean, that is literally what the No Age Zach Hill split sounds like, if you can track that down. That's incredible.
Yeah, that was fun. It's very cool to have Travis on this episode as we, look down sort of the barrel of the end of covers.
How nice is it that we have something, and this is sincere, we have something where a guy named Team Jazz, who loves kind of the Sam side of things, and he loved Fest Month, and he kind of has the perfect voice for it. He was able to do a very sincere No Age cover that sounded perfect, that also had a really stupid Travis Barker inside joke, and somehow none of it was annoying and it was all good. I mean, that's so
all
cool.
great.
That's like some everybody's down energy right there.
Maybe that was the problem, because like even just when we listed out Fest Month, and I was like, okay, all of those songs like that we talked about, they all rock. Like even the Lawrence Arm song, I knew you would hate, but I think it fucking rocks. What I think got tiresome about it was it just was so obvious from the very first episode that it was more alienating than either of us expected. And like that's not what's fun about this pod is like this experience, right? And that's what the Ergs episode was so great, because the Ergs episode was like, here's a great pop song reimagined by all these like brilliant people in all these different ways. And I feel like this is tapping into just the same kind of thing, but it also was called everybody's down. Yeah, totally. And I just feel like Fast ended up being so much less. Like inclusive is not really the word, but for lack of a better term, like it ended up feeling like it was not.
For people who love talking about how much they love being arm in arm and singing together, not everyone was arm in arm in harm.
No,
it's weird.
No, the people were not harm and harm. Yeah.
Okay, wood chips. Everybody's down. What did you all have for lunch today? I had. Oh my God, Sam, what did you have for lunch today?
Oh man, I finally went.
I had such a good lunch today. I'm so excited about this question. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
I had a leftover, the second half of a roast beef sandwich on sourdough from this place Metacione, which is like close to where I live now, and that I haven't been yet, and like everyone tells me it's like the best place in this neighborhood, and it turns out they were right. So,
but you had a leftover.
I ate half the sandwich last night, and then I had the second half today for lunch, and it was just as good.
You must have
just
been so hungry.
Nice Dijon mustard. It had pickles. It had like really like thick, crunchy, like big crystals of salt in it. I mean, just an immaculate sandwich. Yeah.
I had usually for lunch. I like now that I'm unemployed and just kind of like trying to navigate my new life. Usually I'd make us like really epic salads with baguettes for lunch every day, because we're like so French now, have baguette and salad. But we don't have any groceries because I've just been podcasting every waking moment this week, and I'm in crisis mode. But we did have a very kind of, I think 2009 wave. I don't know if it was open in 2009, but it's kind of like, we had a very everybody's down kind of lunch day. We had Dépanneur Le Pickup, which I think I'm pronouncing wrong. Every time I've ever gone there, I've seen someone Godspeed or Godspeed adjacent eating there. It's like definitely like the spot. But I used to get the pulled pork from there. And Sam, you'll see in the window I'm sharing here, I switched to the halloumi sandwich. One time I looked up, I was like, I wonder if the halloumi sandwich is good. I Googled it. And there's a whole Bon Appetit article about some guy, some foodie talking about how much he regrets not ordering it because it's so good. And so
that photo is outrageous.
This is like seriously probably the best sandwich on earth. It's fucking incredible. So I had that today for lunch. So thank you so much. Finally, Wood Chips understands to ask us questions. Like, stop talking about yourselves in the caption. Just talk to us. You know,
the podcast is about us.
It's about us. So here's Wood Chips. Everybody's down. Wood Chips, let us know what you had for lunch on Thursday, October 28th. By the time this comes out. That really, that actually really tied into. I had it on the notes, but we didn't watch it. But No Age used to be in a band called Wives that then became No Age when the drummer moved away, and had his whole. There's a whole story with that that's not really related to No Age, but their last show as Wives, as when they debuted No Age, was part of this thing called like 40 bands in 80 minutes or something. It's this like DVD that I used to have. I think I reviewed it for Exclaim or something, but it's kind of like this, like, I guess around the time of Dan Deacon and Wham City kind of stuff as well too. Like No Age was also in that realm where it was kind of like noisy chiptune synth kind of stuff. So this kind of really did tap into that part of the Everybody's Down brain as well.
Yeah, totally.
It was sick.
Everybody's Down brain.
I kind of want to have another halloumi sandwich right now. That's what I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of this.
Send me one, please.
Performative depression. I mean, your sandwich sounded really good too. I think like
it was crazy good.
You know, gentrification is terrible, but the sandwiches are just getting out of control these days. Everywhere, I think people are saying this. You know,
it's the true upside of gentrification is just better sandwiches.
I don't think anyone would say that about Depp and Earl of Pickup, but like, there's like a fucking crazy sandwich place that just opened across the street from me. That's like, it's just like a parade of streetwear. People eating these like elaborate sandwiches that are so overpriced and good. Oh, hell yeah. Which is actually a very orgcore thing. Remember when people used to a band would break up and then the comment section would always talk about sandwiches after?
Yeah, that was a thing. That was like, Sandwich Chronicles, yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Sorry. Here's Everybody's Down by Performative Depression. We're starting towards the end because it's like a slightly less morose than the rest of it.
Every soul in every town, everybody's down. Everybody's got me going. Everybody's got me Everybody only hope when we're dead. Get no joy, always hate within.
So good. It doesn't even sound.
I want to hear the more spooky half of that. That's fucking awesome.
That didn't sound sad to me. It just sounded like highbrow again. It just had me thinking more about like that was less art bookstore and more art gallery opening music to me, but it was so sick. You know, like drinking wine out of a plastic cup with a whole bunch of hip people around you. So cool. Some like scrunchy looking sculptures. So sick. That was amazing. Up next is the Golden Umbrella Stands, who last week returned with a cover of the Ergs' Pray for Rain. And here he says, this is somewhat a sequel. I liked what I came up with for the solo last week, which rarely happens, so I lowered it an octave and repurposed it for the intro on this one. So kind of, repurposing.
I'm interested.
That's art, I think. So here we go. Golden Umbrella Stands, everybody's down.
This does sound festive.
Yeah.
And as a result, I fucking love it.
I'm also having everybody's down moment with it. But it was only part of it was repurposed from last week, because this is definitely I think this is all new. That's so sick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
I also like that it is sort of based off of something from last week.
Yeah,
which I can't really quite tell how that works.
It's very Facebook of them. I mean, Meta, or is it Meta? What is the word again?
Yeah, but that doesn't happen. Like again, like that you're just speculating.
That's true. Okay, up next, sparkling coal miner killings. Everybody's down. One guy who had never heard the song, gonna guess. My guess is that that's Todd Killings, but I'm not sure. Two guys who were obsessed with it in high school, probably, definitely Sparkling Caleb. And I think this is probably Caleb's caption. Dean, if you're listening, what's up? One time I gave you a hardcore record at Superiority Burger, which is just such a... I mean...
Great. What a sentence.
I really do feel myself cringing from the way that I approached people like Dean or Damien when I was in my early 20s. Kind of.
But it's good to know that was universal. Like, it wasn't like it was just you.
Yeah, you're like, oh, there's a guy who I saw on Pitchfork. I'm going to give him a hardcore record that I have in my bag. And then, I mean, I guess
that was just their lives.
Yeah.
I don't think,
And if you're going to eat at a place called Superiority Burger, then you probably are expecting to have a kind of coming of age moment, because that's such a coming of age burger restaurant name, I think. So,
sure.
Here we go. Sparkling coal miner killings. This is so sick.
Artist?
Told you.
Yeah, no. I don't know why I refuse to believe you.
Just like sounds like everything's covered in contact mics. I love a cover that feels like it should have a plaque instead of a caption, and here it should have a little statement plaque beside it. And that's Everybody's Down.